Welcome back to the Kaiser Report. I'm Max Kaiser. Time now to turn to Chuck Johnson, who is an investigative journalist, an author, a troll, I guess you could say, an all-around interesting guy. Chuck, welcome to the Kaiser Report.
Thank you for having me.
All right, fantastic. Now, Chuck, speaking of breaking stories,
Sure.
Paul Singer, who hedge fund manager, we've covered on our show a few times, involved in some skullduggery. I understand you're working on something now. Tell us about it.
So what was interesting in the 2016 election was just how much money was spent against Trump by other Republicans, in particular Paul Singer, who officially spent $25 million. There are estimates that he spent upward of $50 million against Trump. And in the past, he had hired this group, Fusion GPS, which is this sort of opposition research group that's all these ex-journalists from the Wall Street Journal. He'd hired them in the past to do public affairs work around Argentina. And what I learned this last month when I was in D.C. meeting with people around the White House is that Paul Singer was also the money behind the Fusion GPS dossier, the same dossier that was targeting Trump as supposedly being a tool of Russia. You know, the whole piss memo thing that was ultimately published by BuzzFeed. And we now know that Singer was the money behind it. It's not surprising. Paul Singer was a huge fan of Mitt Romney. It's reported that part of the reason Mitt Romney picked Paul Ryan as his VP pick was the relationship that Singer had with Paul Ryan, and he did not want Paul Ryan to show up on a stage with Trump. And there's a lot of discussion right now in D.C. too about how Singer was also behind the grab him by the tape, or at least his political operation was. And so this is interesting because, you know, it's been discussed in the Wall Street Journal that there were supposedly two donors who were behind this, one Republican one and one Democrat one. But so far it hasn't really materialized who those people were. My people in and around D.C. tell me very clearly it was Paul Singer that did the whole operation. And he very firmly expected Trump to lose the election. He also thought that the Republicans would lose the Senate. And he spent very heavily in the election to try to make sure that Mr. Trump did not win, even after Trump won the nomination.
Right. Well, what's troubling is that Paul Singer, hedge fund manager, he's into politics for capital gain, and he's trying to subvert the political process in many ways to further his aims in the hedge fund industry. And they have access to unlimited amounts of money at 0% interest rate, and they can involve themselves in all kinds of international intrigue. But if you and people in your circle have access to what's becoming a multi-hundred-billion-dollar asset, Bitcoin, you can almost be on a toe-to-toe basis with a Paul Singer out there, looking for the truth. Would be my observation on that.
Right. I mean, one of the things I've become very good friends with Nassim Taleb, author of Anti-Fragile. I don't know if you've had you.
Yeah.
On your show.
He's been on the show. Sure.
Good. Yeah, he's a great guy, and looking forward to his new book coming out soon. But he and I've talked a lot about this idea of like how can you build freedom for yourself in the modern age, and I think it gets in the heart of the matter. You have to have a currency that can't be taken from you for politically incorrect purposes.
Right, and so going forward, I guess we got a couple of minutes left. Let's dig into your current project is.
So we have a new site that we launched called Freestarter, and Freestarter is basically it's our take on Patreon and on GoFundMe, and the basic idea of it is all these people are getting kicked off of the crowdfunding websites, not because they did anything wrong, but because they were supporting politically incorrect causes. And so we very much want to see people. We believe it's a fundamental human right at Researcher and God News and all the projects I'm associated with for people to spend their money as they see fit, so long as they're not breaking any laws. And so we're very much in favor of that. And you should look to see all of our properties be more crypto friendly, and as time goes on too.
As getting back to this meme war, this is a week when Hillary's been out promoting her book, and it's a week when Donald Trump linked to a video, a mashup of him taking a golf swing and the golf ball hitting Hillary as she toppled over, getting onto an airplane. And he grabbed the news cycle. He put her, in a place looking like the buffoon again, with just one retweet of one 10-second clip. Is that what, talk about?
No, so I love this sort of stuff. I mean, I tried to buy 4chan at one point. I'm still very interested in purchasing it because I like the meme economy quite a bit. I think it's probably where advertising is going to wind up going. there was so much money spent on the 2016 election on TV ads that no one really saw. And I think the television medium, all that stuff is very, very ancient. I don't know many people who even own TVs under 35. And so in the case of like what Trump's able to do with retweets, he's done this now with CNN, where he had, they used the WrestleMania clip. So he's been very effective at using the pop culture. And, if you think about it, right now we're in a period where you can send something to the President of the United States on Twitter, if you're not banned, like I'm banned. But you can send things to the President of the United States, and there's not a trivial chance that he might actually see it and might actually like it and engage with it.
No, the old days you used to be able to walk up to the White House, knock on the door, and they'd invite you in for tea.
Yeah.
150 years ago.
That's
all right, Chuck, we're out of time, buddy. We'll have to have you on again soon. Thanks for being on the Kaiser Report.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Kaiser Report with me, Max Kaiser, and Stacey Herbert. I'd like to thank our guest, Chuck Johnson. Look him up on Google. Freaking guy's amazing. If you want to catch us on Twitter, it's Kaiser Report. Until next time, bye, y'all.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.